The views and opinions expressed by the participants on this show are not necessarily those of Stewart Information Services Corporation or Stewart Title. Before you make any investment, you should seek the advice of your investment advisor or attorney.
When it comes to real estate, everything matters. Whether you're a realtor, homeowner, buyer, or seller, Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title is here to inform, entertain, and inspire you. Host Bill Napick from Stewart Title will talk with guests about what really matters when it comes to owning, buying, and selling real estate. Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title starts right now. Here's your host, Bill Napick.
And welcome to the show, Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. I am your host, Bill Napick, going forth every week to entertain, inform, and even inspire. So if you're listening, say in Austin, Texas, Houston, Texas, Wyoming, it doesn't matter. We have assembled a tremendous cast today. And as I was out in the week, someone said, I wonder what the real estate buzz is. And I think we're going to find out right now.
In real estate, it's good to know your resources, what's relevant and what's real. Here it is, the Real Estate Buzz with Roseann Rogers.
And here she is, Roseann Rogers with the Real Estate Buzz. Roseann, I always want to know, what is the Real Estate Buzz today?
Oh, Bill, the buzz. Let me tell you, there's a lot going on. It's all about preparing. Preparedness, preparing for things. It's spring. You're thinking about things going on in your home right now. I'm sure a lot of you are probably thinking you need to look at where your homeowner's insurance is.
That is right.
Is it
Oh,
up?
yeah.
Where is it? Or how far out do you have? Have you planned for it? Because chances are, because of what happened here not too long ago, that thing called Harvey,
We need to be ready.
I guarantee, yeah, some rates are going to be going up. So it might be a good time to shop around. It may be a good time to call your your insurance agent and say, hey, we need to talk.
And on the subject of preparation, it is so important in everything we do. In fact, one of the branches of the armed service, do you know that their motto is Semper Paratus? And that means
Yes.
always ready, always prepared.
Be prepared.
And I think that's just a great word for us every day of our life as we go forth.
Well, growing up in the military, my dad was in the military. Let me tell you, he was always prepared. That was his motto. That's what he did all the time. He said, when you're not, it's when you don't prepare when something's happening. You prepare right before it happens. And so right now is a good time to take a look at everything in your home right now. Good time as far as, how about your air conditioners, Bill? You had them serviced. They need to be serviced, right? What about your gutters? Gutters need to be.
Now, I haven't thought of my gutters in a long time.
I walked around and I was like, Fernando, we need to do gutters. I'm walking around the house going, we need to trim this. Let's go. I mean, I have my little list out of things I need to do. I have a to-do list. And if you have help, or if you even have my son and I were out there, I was like, it's going to be a good time to pick some weeds there, buddy. We need to think about this. Now is the time. Also, if you have a pool or a fountain, those kind of things need to be, and it's also like resurfacing. You don't want to do resurfacing during the summer. You want to do it
in the winter.
In the winter time, right? Well, and because we've had so much winter, going on, you need to do that as well. So it's really about making a checklist in your home, first of all. It's also a time we know spring is the peak of the housing market. And so a lot of homes are going on the market right now in different neighborhoods because certain people want to be able to get into certain school districts, or they want to move different places as far as town. And that as far as their lifestyle. So it's a real good time to take a look at first of all, your home, what's going on, your home inventory, what you need to be doing. Because again, you don't want to do it when it's happened and you have to call someone. There's a lot of those unexpected things that need to happen. As a matter of fact, a repairman came the other day and said, do you know how to clean out your filters in your dishwasher?
I didn't
know.
What?
I looked at him and I went, can you show me where those are? That'd be great.
I didn't know if they had that.
No, he said, do you know how to use your own equipment? Now, we bought an older home, so we did not put the appliance in. It's a remodeled home, but it was built in 1960, so a lot of things have been replaced in that home. No, I wasn't the owner that put the appliances in. So he's walking around where all the appliances, because that's what he does. And he said, well, let me just show you a couple of things that you need to be aware of and know how to do. And he said to me, do you know how to clean the vents? Do you know how to get the vents at the top of your, no, I do not know that either. He's like, well, I'm going to show you how to do it. So things you don't know of that need to be done on a regular basis to prepare and also keep things so you don't have to call the repairman. So you have to, keep things up as far as maintenance is
So many
concerned.
things go with being a homeowner. It's unbelievable. And then when we start thinking about the age of the home, but
Right.
the whole idea of being prepared, you said it before, is once we are to be prepared, often the to-do list has to come into play. And even just as simply as getting ready for the next day, I always like to have my stuff ready so I could be ready to blast off the next morning.
That's it. And I think right now, I said, what you're thinking about, like, you feel so funny, isn't he? He's like, so
Blast how about
off.
that? Blast off.
Oh, and that was like a total, like, reference to
Okay,
what's going on.
one day last week I blasted off. The
You
rest of it was
blasted
just
off.
normal. Okay.
Well, you did. I feel like we should go, like, to NASA or something. It's make me think I
Yes.
need to go to Space Center Houston. I'm like, now I'm like,
There we go.
oh, wait, now I need to go there. That's going to be something. Maybe we have to talk about, maybe in one of the buzzes we'll talk about all the great attractions we need to actually do in our own hometown here of Houston, where we don't have to travel so far. We need to do be a tourist in our own town kind of thing. So blast off. Thanks for giving me
There you go.
that total thing. But back to what we were talking about as far as, like, you have realtors on the show all the time.
All the time.
So, be prepared as far as what you want to do and who you're looking for and what neighborhood you want to go into. And they're prepared all the time because that's what they do. They have to know the market very well. Then they have to have comps. They're always prepared. But what do you need to do to prepare too when selecting that realtor or being prepared to put your house on the market?
Once again, I just had an idea.
Yeah.
I'm going to write a book of all the to-do lists for different functions, different categories of
Yes.
life, because that's what it's about. To find the right realtor, but first you have to know that the real estate professional, and many people don't think of this, has to be so many things: a negotiator, a counselor, knowledgeable about the up-to-date law, so many things, and you need to have that checklist to know that you're going to get the right real estate professional, let alone being in the title world and being a great title representative for Stewart Title.
Well, and you need to be prepared for them. When you have your real estate professional and you have them there, you're going to put it. Well, what do you need to do to prepare to put your house on the market? I mean, you need to make sure. I mean, you want it to be pleasantly and pleasing. You want it to make sure that you have things you have to declutter. Make sure because people do open up closets and they do like look around. They want to be able to see how much, and you don't want them looking at your things. You want them looking at the bones of the house and the house so they can imagine their own things. So a lot of us have a lot of maybe collections that we have. Maybe we need to say, well, I need to pack up that collection. Maybe
It might
put
not
that
work for
away.
the next
May
person
not
looking
work.
at it.
And I'll
Right.
tell you, my husband is pretty much the majority. If he walks in, he hasn't even looked at the house, and something like, oh, there's a painting or there's a collection like we were just talking about, he'll be like, oh, I don't like this house. It has nothing to do with the house. You didn't even look around. You went to the foyer. The foyer is like the very beginning. You need to we need to
First
keep on-
impressions, though, right?
It's a first impression, but he's not alone. People do that. They already have a preconceived. They're walking up the stairs. They're walking up the whole pathway, and then they're already in their mind. They're thinking what they're expect. Why don't you surprise them and blow them away when they open that door?
So many things come into play. Again, that first impression is so important. I mean, when you pull into the neighborhood, when you park your car and walk up the front steps, it's just incredible to be aware of all these things and to have them ready to sell your home. And I've got another thing, and that is as far as being prepared, let's say you may not move from your home for years.
Right.
But how about this? What if you have just the idea in your mind that, what if I have to sell it in short order? Why not just have your house real nice in case you have to?
I always believe that. My husband's gotten transferred several times. Growing up in the military was the same thing, Bill. I mean, I can remember
right.
as a child growing up, I moved my 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th grade, and 11th grade years.
Wow. So you had to always be ready.
We always had to be ready, be prepared, and it was just the way it goes. And so you just never know. I mean, obviously in this day and age, people have a lot of, 2-income families that sometimes one of the spouses has to travel during the week. And you have to be prepared, and they only come home on the weekends. I can't tell you. I have so many of my friends that are like that. I'm like, they have to prepare their time when they're out of town, when they come back out of town. And then it's the same thing of how your household runs, of how you're going to do that. And then all of a sudden, if you add children in the mix, or maybe you have pets. What's going to, I know, I have pets and a child.
Pets and children are
yes,
the same
yes.
thing in some cases, in some families.
Like this morning, I was like, where is my cat? He's been next door.
Where was he?
I'm not sure, Bill. I got more cameras.
What's
I'm
his
telling
name?
you, I'm going to get a dog. I'm like going to get a dog to keep the cats in. Oliver.
Oliver, that's right.
Oliver, Max, and Oliver.
That is
screaming,
awesome.
Going, where are you right now? I've got to go.
And Roseann, say before we close the segment, what else would you like people to know about being prepared before we leave?
We're prepared as Stewart Title. That is part of our motto. Our messaging is what we do. Is it's important to be prepared prior to going to the closing table, but of course on the closing day itself, because that's success for all of us. And you're buying a home, and this is the end result. You can't get a home and move into a home without title. And that's what we do every day. And so I'm very proud that we have a team of experts that are very prepared on a daily basis, that you could call them. And if you have any questions, some people want to know, what is title insurance? Do I have to have it? Yes. The answer is yes. But there's a lot of details that go in that as well. And so we have a great team, and we're here to help. And we're a resource.
Our escrow officers are prepared. The checklist that they have to maneuver and have ready, it's like putting a Swiss watch together. They are the A-team all over Houston and beyond for Stewart Title.
I like that. I like that analogy there, Bill. That's good. That's a good buzz.
Swiss
I like
watch,
that.
which
The
part did you like?
A-team. I like that Swiss watch. It's
but
true.
they are ready. That is true, and that is a fact. Just go to Stewart.com, find your closest Stewart office, and that's a great place to close that real estate transaction.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Bill, for having me on. Appreciate it.
And you heard it. Roseann Rogers, Houston sales manager of the Real Estate Buzz. Thank you, Roseann.
Thank you, Bill.
Most people don't know that Stewart offers business, home, and auto insurance. In fact, Stewart Insurance and Risk Management has been doing that and more for over 10 years. And they partner with many leading insurance companies to offer great rates. They're a national insurance agency operating in all 50 states, delivering a broad range of insurance products. Whether you need a home insurance quote for a client's home closing or your own insurance needs, you can count on them. Call 866-845-4676. That's 866-845-4676. Stewart Insurance and Risk Management is here to help.
And welcome back. Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Yes, we are prepared. We're prepared for our next guest. He is Chris Foster with John Daugherty Realtors. Chris, welcome to the show.
Appreciate it.
Super awesome. Yeah, we were at an event not that long ago, and we got to meet you and say, hey, Chris, come on the show and tell us what's going on. First, let's tell people about your company and maybe a company distinction or two.
All right. Well, John Daugherty actually just celebrated our 50-year anniversary
50.
in the Houston market last year, so we're in 51 years now. Distinctions that we've got, we're members of leading real estate companies of the world. We are partners with Mayfair International out of London, England, and we're also a member of Luxury Portfolio.
So you're not missing a beat right there. You're connected to the world, helping buyers and sellers all the time.
That is correct.
Interesting. Now, let's tell people, as far as real estate, what got you in the real estate profession to begin with?
Well, I got into real estate after being, long story short, taking care of my grandmother for a few years. Until her passing, I decided to kind of change my career path. My dad and John Daugherty grew up together. They went to Lamar High School together here in Houston. And after sitting down and talking with him, I've been in sales and marketing for 18 years at the time, and just thought it was a good fit for me, and so did John. So I came on board.
Fascinating. People from sales walks of life and many fields end up in real estate. In fact, as we think about it, teachers also end up in real estate and do a tremendous job and have very successful careers.
That's exactly right. In fact, I mean, you can take anything that you've learned out there in the industry that ties into real estate, whether it's sales, marketing. Teachers, like you said, do fantastic at our profession.
And, of course, the beauty is you're in business for yourself, and the sky's the limit as to the income that you can make and all that.
That is correct. That's right. You are in charge of your own destiny. It's all about getting out there, knowing the market, knowing your customers, and making sure that you take care of their needs.
And when we talk about being prepared, certainly as a real estate professional, there's so many things that you have to do, and I would think it depends on each transaction as you go forth. But give us an idea of how you prepare to help, let's say, a seller.
Well, if it's a seller, the first thing that I like to do, maybe a little bit different, is, a lot of sellers are interviewing realtors. And so you have to be prepared that you're not the only one that they're talking to. So what's going to differentiate you from somebody else. And what I have found is I like to get on a rapport with them and kind of find out about why they moved into that house in the first place. Raising your kids here, was it the schools? What made you choose this house? Why you're leaving? What's going on? What, moving, job, whatever it may be. But when somebody seems to think that you're interested not just in trying to get the listing, but actually who they are as human beings and why they bought the house, how they grew up in the house, the kids that they raised in the house, like I said, that seems to get a foot in the door. And then all the other stuff just comes with it. The market knowledge, being able to run the comps, seeing what things are selling for in the neighborhood, that all comes after the fact.
Yeah, it's very interesting, too, because you're exactly right. We're in a city here that people say it's soon to be the third largest city, but certainly it's the fourth, so that when someone chooses a realtor, there are many to choose from.
That's correct.
And even though there's many realtors, there's still that top tier of real estate professionals that you would even look at. But that's right. You're competing just like everybody else is in their profession.
That is right.
And that spirit of competition, I think, is always a great thing to keep us sharp and to be a little bit to stand above the crowd when we can.
That is exactly right. And the people in our profession, even at other firms, they're fantastic. We're all good at what we do. That's our job. And so it's really nice to see when you've gotten on a rapport with somebody and you build a relationship. So over the years, you want your clients to become your friends. You want to build a relationship with you, not just be a business transaction.
And I would think that it's probably a commonplace thing where you've served someone in the past a few years ago, then they call you back, hey, Chris, I'm ready to move again, or I'm ready to buy an investment property. Does that happen a lot?
It does happen a lot, and I think referral business is what makes our business. And over the years, you build up that referral business, and you can make a nice career out of it when it happens that way.
And then you help their kids and the friends of the kids and all that.
Friends of the kids, and it just trickles down, and you've just got customers coming at you from all over the place, and you don't even know where they're coming from.
I think I'm going to be a real estate agent. That sounds like fun.
There
Good
you go.
idea.
That's right. See, that's why I'm in it.
That's what people think, isn't it? Because they look at the TV shows. They're all driving beautiful cars, selling mansions all the time.
Yeah.
They make it look easy on TV sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes. And I guess that's the magic of television, because it's really not that easy.
Exactly. There's a little bit of smoke and mirrors in some of those real estate shows. However, some of them are very entertaining.
They are entertaining. I get a kick out of watching a lot of those.
And as we're going forth here, right, in this part of the year is racing by. How is the market right now in the area you serve? And do you work by geography, or how do you approach your profession?
Well, John Daugherty typically for the last 51 years has been more of the luxury market. That's what we focus on. So your inner loop, Tanglewood, River Oaks, Memorial, those type of properties. I go where the referral business takes me, as we talked about earlier. So I will sell in my area, of course, but then, I've sold in Katy, I've sold in Sugar Land, I've sold in Cypress, because that's where the referrals took me. The market since Harvey is starting to pick up. Houston had a horrible event. The real estate market was a little bit slow right after. People were trying to figure out what to do with their homes. It flooded. But now we're seeing those peak season spikes right now. We're getting into the spring, summertime. Kids are trying to get into school districts, so certain neighborhoods go to certain schools, and so people are preparing for that. So we're fixing to hit that really busy time, if you will, in real estate.
So it sounds like the year's going to shape up very nice by the time we are looking at 2019, which will be here before we know it.
That's exactly right. And what we're seeing and the trends we're seeing, how many listings we're putting on the market every week, the amounts of showings that we're getting every day as a company, you see the trends going upward right now, and that's what we expect going into the summers.
What about the open house? Are there a lot of open houses? We've been having such great weather lately.
The weather's fantastic, and it's the open houses are key. You want people to get in there. You want people to see the listings. You want people to see the neighborhoods. And I think open houses are something that obviously really benefits the homes.
And Chris, we talked about the sellers. What are you telling the buyer? Someone approaches you and say, Chris, I want to buy a house at this price point and some other criteria. How do you coach them to get them ready for that real estate adventure of buying?
Well, but yeah, buying can be a tricky thing. And, you always get questions from clients, well, is it a buyer's market or is it a seller's market? And I really, there is no such thing
hey,
in
if
my
you're
opinion.
buying, you just go buy a house, right?
Yeah, and so they ask specific questions. If they first-time home buyers, especially, what am I getting into? What do I have to look forward to? And it's not just the buying of the house. It's getting with a good title company like Stewart. It's getting with the right lender. It's getting with the right organizations. You have to be able to get your client prepared in all facets of the transaction, not just the buying side of it. But we will, buyers determine the market. And that's what I always tell, my buyers. We're going to go out there, and the house is going to sell for whatever the buyers deem they're willing to pay for it. You can go based on the comps. You can look at the comps. You can show them the numbers all day long. But basically, a buyer is going to determine what they want to pay for that house.
And what about the higher end homes? Let's say homes over $1 million or even over $2 million. How are they moving right now? Or let's say I'm a buyer that wants to buy that kind of home. What am I in for? Should I have cash ready?
Well, a lot of them do, surprisingly.
At the higher end,
in
right?
the higher end market, yeah. It's a lot of cash transactions, surprisingly. The $1 to $5 million is doing really well. It's when you get over the $2 million market, you see a lot more days on the market when you get over the $2 million houses. But the $1 to $1.5 million, I mean, they're on the market. They're gone within, sometimes 30, 45 days. And like you said, a lot of cash transactions. And, yeah.
And Chris, what else would you like people to know before we close the segment?
Well, I mean, just the market is strong. It's getting to the peak time in Houston.
It's a fun time, I think.
It's a fun time. It's summertime. The kids are out of school almost, and now we got to figure out where we're going to put them in school for the next year. So you'll see a peak in the housing market, and that's what John Daugherty does.
And Chris, let's tell people how they can reach out to you.
You can reach me at chrisf@johndaugherty.com. 713-561-6636 is my direct line.
There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Foster, give him a call at 713-561-6636. Thank you, Chris, for being on the show.
I appreciate it, Bill. Thank you.
Stay with us. You can't believe what's coming up next.
Stewart Title has been serving Texas for over 120 years. A Texas treasure, Stewart Title's longevity is a testimony to superior service, innovation, and knowing what their customers want. Recent surveys show that 92% of respondents want secure online tracking tools to help them during the closing process. Stewart Title offers the most robust and secure system to track transactions online available today. To learn more, contact Stewart Title at one of their many offices around the city. Stewart Title, online at stewart.com. That's STEWART.com.
Welcome back. Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. I am your host, Bill Nampick. We go forth, and now we mentioned money in the last segment. Here he is, Will Swallen with People's Home Equity Incorporated. Will, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Bill.
And you help people get money all the time. It's easy.
Yes, very easy. I wish it was
Sometimes.
so easy. Right. Sometimes more than others.
And let's tell people, Will, about your company.
So I'm with People's Home Equity. We secure our own business. We fund our own loans. So we have the opportunity to go out there and sell it based on market trends and trajectories. So we're not to be confused with a broker. We don't go out there and broker your business out. But we do have the opportunity to underwrite everything in-house. So it's a very quick, fast, painless process.
And I'll get to the question I usually ask, and that is, how many times a week will people say, hey, Will, what's the interest rate?
Every day. Every day they ask that.
Every day, really?
Right.
How do you respond?
Well, it's a moving market. Don't get too caught up in watching it because you will lose your hair. It will go gray like mine. So we try to educate. I think that's the number one thing that any good loan officer should be doing is educate them, give them understanding of what to expect. And once they know that, they're not so petrified of the market.
And we talked earlier about being prepared. You aren't even ready to look at a property if you don't have the money part prepared, and that's where you help people every day.
Absolutely. Where I come in is more of the mortgage planner, not to be confused with just a loan officer that takes a loan app. There's so much more involved.
And give us an idea. What's all involved when I come to you and say, hey, I'm going to need $1 million or whatever it is?
First thing we're going to do is we're going to sit down, talk with you, go over your goals, your objectives, and try and make sure we have a loan that's going to fit your long-term and short-term financial needs. So and a good example is they sit down, they have an expectation of what they think the payments might be. But until we educate them on the property taxes, which can blow some people away, we really tried to educate them on, I think, what the overall picture is going to look like, not just on a quick mortgage summary, but what to expect not at the day of closing, but well down the road. That makes a big, big difference in, I guess, their experience. So often they kind of get caught up in online calculators, and they think the payment's one thing when they find out it's another. And that can derail a transaction, upset a realtor has been showing the wrong price homes. So again, we dumb it down, get educated, and we try to get understanding of what they think they know.
And that's why they need a trusted advisor. And
Right.
and when is a good time to reach out to someone like you to get started? Because you can't just say one day, hey, I want to buy a house, I'm going to call someone. So how do we get prepared with the money part?
A great question. I think the first thing is when you start the process, you get an idea, you get the buzz to go out there and buy. That's when you should be reaching out to a qualified loan officer to help you with the process, get the understanding. Let them really give the ins and outs of what to expect, both not just on your payments, but what to expect at closing. So often they think there's just down payment. And when you go through it, you explain escrows, you really kind of blow them away, what I call the eye-popping, jaw-dropping experience. It's good to make sure they have a good understanding of what the overall picture looks like. So earlier the better.
So many things to consider.
A lot is good. A lot goes into the equation, and so many people think they have understanding just from what their friends did. And reality is they have no idea what to expect.
It can be complicated. So the other thing that comes to mind is, other than what happens at the closing, it seems like there's a lot of different type of loans. How do we even figure out what's the right loan for us? I mean, there are veterans sometimes, the VA loans, but just without that type of loan, there's so many that are out there. How do we find the right one?
Again, the key, I think, is getting with the qualified loan officer or mortgage planner. That's their job to help advise you on what the best program might be. There is FHA, VA, conventional, USDA, portfolio products, to name a few. So without making your head spin, the loan officer should be able to take your application and start to evaluate that plan. Based on your goals, they should be able to recommend one that's going to work not just short-term, but long-term.
And I have a feeling you know the right questions to ask to guide them to the right loan, right?
Absolutely. We use
questions are very important here.
They're key. If the loan officer doesn't ask questions, they're just an app taker. An app taker is not, at the end of the day, going to do you any good. A computer can do that. The idea, this is, for most of our buyers, it's their largest investment they're ever going to make. So it's worth the time to sit down and plan it. Get understanding of what to expect and make sure it's going to fit your financial budget. We never want the client to be married to the home. We want them to use this as a diversification of their portfolio and just make sure it's going to work.
And of all the things in the real estate profession, there are many roles that someone can play. They could be the realtor. They can work for a title company. In your world, what is it that attracted you to this very important part of the transaction?
So when I got out of college, I got into financial planning. I thought that's what I wanted to do, be a financial advisor, and I got stuck behind the scenes, and I'm really a people person. I like to work with people. I like to make an impact on people's lives. So I fell into mortgage lending about 20 years ago. And 20 years later, I'm still here loving what I do because I get to really make an impact, help people achieve the American dream one home at a time. So just working with people is what I love.
And when we think about the closing, so many things happen at the closing. People get their checks. People get the keys to their new home. And in your case, I'm just guessing, but when it all comes together, there must be a great feeling of satisfaction when everyone's jumped over all the hurdles and they say, hey, thanks, Will.
Absolutely. That's one of the best parts is being there at the closing with them when you get to celebrate with them. That congratulations, you're a new homeowner. That's a very rewarding feeling. Love it. That's part of the whole transaction.
There you go. That's great compensation right there. That feeling has to be tremendous on everybody's part, but certainly when you help them with something so intricate.
Right. And our business is referral driven, so we're helping out more than just one person. We're helping the referral partners, usually our realtors. We work with their financial partners to make sure the loan fits their financial investment strategies. And we consult with their CPAs just to make sure the tax benefits work for them.
And from a marketing standpoint, again, in our world, we have so much competition, and I love competition because it helps us reach higher and to serve better. How do you market your services? People certainly referral, but how else do you find new business, let's say?
Our new business is derived from our past clients. We have a couple of pillars to our business. Some actually could be divorce attorneys, people starting all over. We get business from a lot of financial planners, CPAs. Majority of it comes from realtors and past clients. We just stay in front of them. 20 years of doing this, I still have buyers that call me up for advice on taxes or insurance or just overall questions, what to do next. So staying in front of them throughout the process just grows organically. And that's been the best route. We're not trying to recapture expensive ad cost. We're not out there trying to put some billboard up or a grocery cart ad just to try and attract new business. We're not looking for the online shoppers because they don't appreciate the level of service we provide.
And I'm thinking I'll use a time frame, let's say high school, but it probably goes before that. I know it was very interesting in my childhood. My parents told me at an early age to pay your bills, to make sure that you have a good credit rating. They said, I'm just thinking about this now. They said that when I was real small. So what would you advise people that are youngsters that are out there? How important is it to make sure your credit rating shines like the sun when they get checked out by a mortgage company?
That's hugely important. Getting to look at it early on.
Put your sunglasses on to look at this
Get
rating.
your sunglasses on. Get your report, but don't be confused by certain websites. I would go to the right site to get your credit report looked at. And just know it can get very complicated. So again, working with your loan officer is key. There's 3 bureaus with 5 different models. Make sure you're looking at the right model. Your loan officer will know what to tell you, what to look at on that. But just keeping some key figures in mind will help optimize those scores. And that in the end will make the biggest difference in what your rate will be.
And how about the idea, don't spend more than you make? I heard someone say that. I don't know who that was, but that makes sense, doesn't it?
It's huge. It's just don't live beyond your means.
So simple.
Exactly. But if everyone followed it, it would be a simple job.
No doubt about it. And Will, I'm thinking about all the financial mistakes I made. Glad I got back on track at some point. But in the meantime, let's tell people in the last minute or so, what else would you like them to know about you or your company?
Well, what I think they need to know is this being one of the largest investments, don't try and rush into it and don't try and do it in 8 minutes. Take the time. You deserve it. The loan officer should do their due diligence for the file. There's so much involved that I think making sure you have a great understanding of the big picture is key. And just don't try and rush it. Talk with someone you like and trust.
And Will, how can people reach out to you?
They can reach me. Best method is phone, 713-558-0364, or my super long email at wswallen@peopleshomeequity.com.
There you go. Super long, but you said it so quickly. I love that. 713. Give Will a call at 713-558-0364. He will be your mortgage advisor, Will Swallen. Thank you, Will, for being on the show.
Thank you, Bill.
And we're coming right back. Oh, yeah. Stay with us.
Most people don't know that Stewart offers business, home, and auto insurance. In fact, Stewart Insurance and Risk Management has been doing that and more for over 10 years. And they partner with many leading insurance companies to offer great rates. They're a national insurance agency operating in all 50 states, delivering a broad range of insurance products. Whether you need a home insurance quote for a client's home closing or your own insurance needs, you can count on them. Call 866-845-4676. That's 866-845-4676. Stewart Insurance and Risk Management is here to help.
And welcome back. Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title, your host, Bill Nampick. And now we have a friend of the show. She is now with us. Her name is Beth Cassidy, and she is with Carnan Properties. Beth, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Glad to be back.
Well, it's great to see you again, and let's tell people, you have, first of all, I have to say it, Beth Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. For people that are in my generation, that was a great movie.
That'll really age us a lot when you say
that. And then not only that, what about David Cassidy?
He died recently, yes.
Yeah, but you're not related to the...
No.
Unbelievable.
I used to get phone calls asking if I was. I was like...
A great name.
They would stalk me about it, yeah.
And people can remember your name. It's very easy, isn't it?
It is. There's not many Cassidys.
Indeed. Well, let's tell people you've recently joined Carnan Properties. Tell us why you moved over there and what's going on at Carnan Properties.
Well, I moved over there just because I met a lot of people there and they have great energy. It's a small group. They're a lot of fun. The office, I have to say, is the most gorgeous office in Houston. I'm kind of biased, but it's true.
What floor is it on, by the way?
The 11th floor, the entire 11th floor.
Super views, huh?
Right above Ruth Chris Steakhouse. But it is just beautiful. And there's a lot of young people, a lot of millennial type kids that know social media. And there's just a lot. There's a commercial division there as well. So I'm able to do that there. And my business has really tripled.
So now you made me want to take the elevator to the 11th floor and also to have a steak medium rare, by the way.
You have a steak and then go up and see us.
That sounds like fun. And so as far as the real estate world, in your world, do you work by geography or what's your approach?
Because I'll sell anything. Yeah. I mean, people think I'm just luxury. I have a lot of luxury properties, but I also have properties that move real fast, like under $200,000. I had 6 offers on one recently.
That's
the market
always
right
nice.
now is crazy as far as like from $300,000 to $600,000.
And when we think about marketing, what is your approach to to marketing your services as you're out there?
Honestly, I mean, I don't really do that much. I've been here, lived in Houston my whole life, and
You
I
were
know so
born
many
here?
people. I'm not going to say how long ago.
No, you don't have to.
100 years ago. And so I know so many people, and I know people from the schools and from raising my kids in the Memorial area and just being in Houston all my life. So it's word of mouth. It just really grows. And you were talking about it being glamorous. A lot of people think that the
They
younger
think it
kids want to
is.
work with me, and they're like, oh, it looks so easy. Just pop a house out there and people come. And I'm like exhausted. Not in a bad way, but I mean, it's 24 hours.
Well, it's interesting. And it's probably a good thing to see those things that inspire us to do something. And sometimes if we're doing something right, we do make it look
Yeah,
easy.
and it's fun. I love it so much. It doesn't feel like a job. I always say that. It's so much fun to me.
It is.
And rewarding.
What attracted you to the real estate profession to begin with?
Similar to what he was saying, I was in sales my whole life in advertising. I love people. I've always loved beautiful homes. And I'm just love the relationship part of it. And so then my sister really coerced me into doing it. And I was like, I don't know. Because when I was raising my kids, I thought it would take up too much time. And then I started 10 years ago, and I was just like, wow, this is fun. The most fun is the rewarding part at the end, like he was talking about when you close and people are your family and that you stay in touch with them forever and you bond with them and you go to the weddings and I mean, it's just such a connection that you have, and that's the best part. Rewarding to find that.
And I've heard
perfect
people
house.
say that when they work with a real estate agent, sometimes when it's over, when that closing takes place, while they're excited about it, sometimes they're like, oh, but I won't see you again, and that's why we want to
But I'm
stay
really
with
good
you.
about
Yeah.
keeping in touch, and then
Because you have that opportunity, you build a bond, and
Yeah.
that is so much fun.
yes, and I've been lucky and fortunate that people enjoy the experience with me, and then they tell their friends, and family, and I just have a big network of people that I love them all. I mean, you go through that and you feel like you're just bonded for life, which is
So,
fun.
if you were to assess right now, what's your gut feel as we go forth? How do you think the year is going to end up?
Oh, it's been the busiest year. 2013 is similar to this year, I believe. Everybody thought Harvey was going to negatively affect the market. It's been the opposite, actually. So many buyers and sellers right now. I know it's the time of year, but it's just, when you look ahead and hear the statistics, it's just going to get better and better here.
And from a relocation standpoint, what do you see as far as people coming in? Because your
Lots.
office is right there at the
Yeah,
gallery.
we are
so that
international.
we get a
I
feel.
didn't tell you that. We're international. I'm like the only one in the office that only speaks English. I'm not kidding.
Is that right?
Yes.
Well, that's a
I'm
that's a
like, hey.
distinction. Hey, you're a specialist in
I'm
the
Irish
English.
and I speak English. That's like the rarity. Everybody else is
There
like
you go.
all these different languages, and they have connections in Mexico, all over the world. Actually, the owner does. Carmina, Neil Hamill's the president. So we just have a fun group, and we all support each other very well. But they have a lot of connections with reload companies that are coming in and looking at things. Some people are buying without even coming to the property, just seeing it online. Because the online presence now, Neil was saying yesterday in a meeting, is really the showing. When you look at the pictures and they're really done well, they already know what they want. They narrow it down, and you consider that a showing when they look online. Whereas before, you'd have to go in there and, see it yourself. People are buying. I have a guy that came in yesterday to look at a property I have, and he wants to tell his client wants it without seeing it.
It's interesting. There was an article in the Wall Street Journal, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago, and that was it, that real estate is being purchased without being seen. And on the subject of being multilingual, I can be silent in 7 languages. I don't know if you knew that.
Me
yeah,
too,
true
actually,
fact, yeah.
Uh-huh.
No doubt about it. So, and by the way, we should tell Mr. Neil Hamill hello. He's been on the
Yes.
show. It's been a while,
He needs
so
to come back.
we need to get him
Because
back.
we're fairly new, but it's a buzz about town. Everybody's like, what's up with Carnan? Why are these great agents going over there? And everybody's talking about it. And everybody's curious. We just started our new website, just came up. And so evidently we have a lot of social media presence and interest.
And what is the website, by the way?
CarnanProperties.com.
Too easy. Like Beth Cassidy.
Yeah.
Super
Beth at
easy.
CarnanProperties.com.
Super cool. Also, Beth, give us an idea as far as sellers go. How do you coach the seller at this point in time?
The seller, just as far as getting the
I
house
want to sell
prepared.
my house. Yeah.
Okay, run the comps, of course. Talk to them about how they're going to prepare their home. Make it from the outside and inside. I'm certified in home staging as well, and you have to make it decluttered, minimize, take out the family photos, take out the red wall. That
What if I have
somebody
pictures of my dogs? Can I
No,
take
because
them
they're going to
down?
want to vision their dog there
Okay,
and not
okay.
your dog.
All right.
So they have to make it, so the public, you appeal to the masses, your house.
And I'm glad you said stagers. At what point do we use a stager or need to, and what point don't we?
Well, I'll go in and just even use what they have and make and minimize, and declutter. There are homes that I do virtual staging with now where you pay a certain amount per picture and put furniture in there that's not even there to make it look better. There's a big market for that now, but there's companies also that come in and bring furniture to empty homes, which does help sell it.
Because I know you have a lot of connections with people in the design world, and you
yes.
have a great sense of
And
design as well.
I can refer people from the beginning to, if they want to just gut out the whole house or even get it prepared. I'll say, well, this wall's offensive maybe to someone. You might like it, but you want to neutralize everything. And now, as you know, gray is like the new beige, grayish. Everything seems to be gray, but if you want to make it modern and updated,
as we speak, there are people at my home installing gray floors, no lie, right? And they're going to be there all week because it's 2,000 square feet of floors.
It used to be beige, now it's grayish.
I love that gray.
Yeah.
With the last minute or so, Beth, what else do you want people to know about you, Carnan Properties, or anything else?
I'm a little biased, but I love it. I mean, I'm having more fun there than I ever have at any
You're always
place
smiling. I see that, yes.
But, I mean, it's just the energy and the fun we all have together. We all support one another. Great agents there. It's very hands-on. Beautiful office. Fun. I mean, I like
Neil
it kind of
Hamill,
smaller.
what more do you want?
He's a blast. He's
He
so
is.
funny.
And if he's listening, we want him back on the show. So anytime, Neil.
Come back on, Neil.
Yes. Also, Beth, let's tell people how they can reach out to you.
My phone number is 832-646-2982, and it's Beth@CarnanProperties.com. I also have another email that I've had forever, bcassidyproperties@gmail.com.
There you go. Give her a call, 832-646-2982. Go to that 11th floor. She'll be there looking out the window. Beth, thank you for being on the show. And we're coming right back with even more. Stay with us.
Stewart Title has been serving Texas for over 120 years. A Texas treasure, Stewart Title's longevity is a testimony to superior service, innovation, and knowing what their customers want. Recent surveys show that 92% of respondents want secure online tracking tools to help them during the closing process. Stewart Title offers the most robust and secure system to track transactions online available today. To learn more, contact Stewart Title at one of their many offices around the city. Stewart Title, online at stewart.com. That's STEWART.com.
And we are with Michelle Steffen with Stewart Insurance and Risk Management. Michelle, welcome.
Thank you, Bill.
I'm going to say two words to you.
Okay.
Car insurance. What should people think about as far as the basics of car insurance?
Everybody's got to have it. It's a legal obligation for drivers. If you're a licensed driver in the United States, you probably have to have it. So there's that component of need, but additionally, it's the component of protection. It's how can you be protected as a driver on the road, and then how can you protect yourself from claims potentially that come against you because you were faulted in an incident. So your auto policy has to protect you for all of that. It's protecting you in the event you're at fault, and then also protecting you, your family, and your personal property, which is your car, if somebody else is at fault. And then really, how much are you willing to take on as a driver to recover fully, either from physical damage to your body or your property? And so those are really the components that we pay attention to when we're looking at auto for a customer.
And Michelle, give us an idea of some of the other components about the auto policy that people may not know about.
Definitely. So you've got bodily injury and property damage. That's liability exposures, right? And that's what you're legally responsible to carry as a driver in the United States. And above that, you've got uninsured and underinsured motorist coverage. Those are optional coverages that again, are not a requirement. So that protects you and your family if somebody else is at fault and they don't have enough coverage or they don't have coverage at all. And just from personal experience, Texas is one of those states that has a high number of uninsured motorists. So add that coverage component on. It's super inexpensive, but it's great protection for you and your family. And then there's also components like a gap type of coverage that protects you if you owe more on the vehicle than it's actually worth actual cash value. That's a great one that we talk about with folks who have newer vehicles. And then roadside service, if you will. So if you have that lockout, if you lock your keys in the car and you can't get into the vehicle, if you have that flat tire, or if you run out of gas, right? So the roadside assistance is really meant to help you recover very quickly. And most insurance companies do have an offering for that. What you want to pay attention to is the range around your primary home, the mileage, and how far they'd actually tow you should you need it.
That's a good point. And also, as we're talking about auto insurance, some of the things we also want to remind people, I'm thinking of all kinds of vehicles. Let's say they have watercraft, a motorcycle, or something like that. You can help them there, too.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a very similar policy with the motorcycle, but it certainly is specific to the vehicle itself and then the liability risks around that. Again, bodily injury for other people, and that if you have a motorcycle, may not be as much as the bodily injury that you would personally suffer if you were to be involved in an accident. So you gotta think about it in a round perspective and make sure that you have the right type of protection.
And I would also think, as people are thinking about their automotive, motorcycle, or whatever, it's always a good thing to investigate and really have that umbrella policy as well.
Absolutely. The umbrella policy is meant to protect you above all of your underlying risks. So if the umbrella policy is going to respond, it would in the event of a motorcycle accident as well. And another key thing that I would mention is and this is close to my heart here in Houston because of Harvey, but it wasn't just homes that suffered flood damage, right? Many vehicles suffered flood damage as well, and it was no fault of the driver. The water rose.
The car was just sitting there.
The cars, floated away. So even those type of losses can be protected through the appropriate coverage, comprehensive and collision. In that case, that's considered a comprehensive loss. It's what they call in the insurance lingo is an act of God, something unexpected.
Let's tell people how they can reach you.
Absolutely. Call us to talk about your insurance options for auto. 866-845-4676. One more time, it's 866-845-4676.
Or go to Stewart.com.
Check us out on Facebook and all of our social media as well.
Very nice. Thank you, Michelle. Steffen with Stewart Insurance and Risk Management. And welcome back, Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. We have a unique show today. We have business development people all over for Stewart Title, certainly here in Houston, but we have a visitor from that place that's so popular these days. People, they say, are moving from California and everywhere else, Austin, Texas. We have Hannah Patterson with Stewart Title in Austin. Hannah, welcome to the show.
I'm happy to be here.
Yes, it's
Thanks
great.
me.
Yeah, don't shake your head because they can't hear that part.
Okay.
But we're glad. And you didn't know you're going to be on the radio today. But let's tell people you are at Stewart Title and tell them the location about where you are at Stewart Title in Austin.
Yes, I am downtown at 6 and Lamar, so across from Waterloo Records and the Whole Foods Anchor store. So it's a great location.
Right in the heart of the action.
Mm-hmm.
And am I right? People are moving from all over to Austin.
Yes, definitely from California.
So that's a popular spot, huh?
Mm-hmm.
And so business right now for Stewart Title in Austin and even other companies, how is it?
It's a really exciting time. I'm from Dallas originally, so new to the Austin market, and I'm really impressed. The prices and just it wasn't what I expected in a good way. So it's an exciting time to be at Stewart and also in Austin.
And you're having a good time, it sounds like.
Absolutely.
So the experience from moving to Dallas to Austin, Texas, you're enjoying the move so far.
I love it.
Very nice. Ladies and gentlemen, Hannah Patterson. Hannah, let's tell people how they can reach out to you if they want to close in Austin, Texas at Stewart Title.
Absolutely. You can call me on my mobile, 512-827-1402, and reach me at my email address, hannah.patterson@stewart.com.
Very nice. Give her a call right there at 512-827-1402. And one other thing, Hannah, how many offices do we have in Austin?
We're at about 7 right now.
About 7. Very nice. Well, thank you, Hannah Patterson, and hello to all those people at Stewart in Austin that are probably listening. And now he's back, Mr. Chris Foster from John Daugherty Realtors. Chris, welcome back to the show.
I appreciate it.
Very
Couldn't stay
nice.
away.
Yeah, well, it's good to see you as always. And as we wind up the show, what else would you like people to know about what you're doing out there in the real estate world in Houston?
Well, in addition to real estate, I do have something that's near and dear to my heart that I didn't mention earlier. I'm on the board of directors for an organization called Bennett's Bears, and we give Build-A-Bears to all the kids in the hospital that are going through illnesses. Right now, we're up to 7 different hospitals: the Ronald McDonald House, the Star Hope Missions, both here and in Austin, Texas.
Oh.
So we give away about 2,000 bears a year right now.
You're doing good work, no doubt. Let's tell them, how can they learn more about that? The website?
Yeah, just go to the website. It's bennettsbears.org.
Bennett's Bears. A lot of B's there.
Bennettsbears.org. Bennettsbears.org.
And how did you get involved in that?
Well, Bennett, who the company is named after, the charity, grew up with his dad, and Bennett was diagnosed with brain cancer when he was 18 months old. This was back in 2011. He's in remission now, but when he was in the hospital, he got a Build-A-Bear from total strangers. And Brandy, who was Bennett's mom, said, listen, if we get it out of this hospital, we're going to go ahead and give back and do something for these kids that are sick. You know, they're in the hospital during the holidays, you know, going through treatments. It's awful. And so it gives them something to hold on to when they get a bear. Something as simple as a teddy bear goes a long, long way. So.
There's no doubt about it. Giving back to the community. Realtors do it all the time. Chris, in addition to that, you're even selling real estate. Tell them the website of the Bears again, and then your contact info.
The website for Bennett's Bears is bennettsbears.org. And if you want to reach me for any real estate needs, you can call me at, I got my cell phone too, 832-545-5283. Chris F. at johndaugherty.com.
There he is, 832-545-5283. And we say hello to Mr. John Daugherty. I know he listens all the time, and Sherry and the group over there, they're super awesome. Will Swallen is back. Will, let's tell people before we close the show, what else would you like people to know from People's Home Equity, Inc.?
Well, Bill, I just can't overemphasize the importance of having the right mortgage. So when talking to your planner, hopefully me, you talk about liquidity, safety, and rate of return. This is a big investment, so make sure you minimize your cost, maximize the investment, and just plan that out. Get your financial planner on the phone, and let's get a strategy going.
You really need an advisor like Will Swallen, no doubt about it, someone that's going to be there for you and also coach you through the whole process, because it's daunting sometimes.
Overwhelming.
And how can they reach you again, Will?
The best way is 713-558-0364. Someone from the team will take that phone call, or worst case, my cell phone, 713-201-9838.
Very nice. And Beth, Cassidy, before we close the show down, let's tell people how they can reach out to you over there at Carnan Properties with Neil Hamill and the team.
I didn't mention I have the Cassidy group, so I have my own group there.
There it is. Nice. It's the Cassidy group?
At Carnan, and it's 832-646-2982, Beth at CarnanProperties.com.
That's super awesome, Beth. You know it's fun. And also, we have, I mentioned business development. We have Hannah from Austin, but also we have Keaton Kaner. Keaton is right there in the heart of the action. There's no question about it. He's at Fine Properties. He's in the Heights sometimes at the same time. He's incredible. If you want to bring your real estate transaction to Keaton Kaner at Stewart Title, he's the man. Check him out at 832-352-0978. That's 832-352-0978. Or just Google Keaton Kaner. He's right there. Stewart Title, serving in a magnificent way. And don't let me not mention Bree Nodal at our Kirby Grove. You talk about, Beth was talking about a beautiful office at Carnan. That Kirby Grove office, brand new for Stewart Title, is unbelievable. That's right. Look for Bree Nodal, Business Development Officer, right there. Stewart Title, Kirby Grove. It just sounds good, Kirby Grove. I love it. And, oh yeah, don't be sad that the show is ending, because it doesn't really end. It is at the time of broadcast, but you can reach out to Stewart.com/Houston to hear any and all the shows except show number 1, because we can't find that one. But all 218 other shows are there at Stewart.com/Houston. Check it out. We're there for you. And if you want to close at Stewart Title in Austin or anywhere else, just Google Stewart Title. That's right. Or you can come over to Memorial. It doesn't matter. You can go to Australia. We're an international company traded on the New York Stock Exchange. STC is the symbol. Stewart.com/Houston. We'll see you next week. And thank you, everybody, for being on the show.